So with Chime, we ran a 3-month trial where we ran concurrent softwares, concurrent CRM platforms, and tried to make it as apples to apples of a comparison as possible.
Certainly.
So we normalized ad spend. We tried to normalize for having the same people operating the platform and so forth. We tried to make it as close of a comparison as possible, and we did that for 3 months.
So what were those 3 months like?
Well, we quickly were able to see where our shortcomings were on our legacy platform. That being said, we weren't able to control for everything. There were certain factors that we could not normalize for, we couldn't control for. Like, for example, that the fact that our legacy CRM had our domain authority, BobLacidoTeam.com, LacidoGlobal.com. So we couldn't control for that. That was an advantage to our legacy CRM. And we couldn't control for the fact that the ad campaigns for our legacy CRM had years worth of data behind them and the benefit of years worth of optimizations.
Absolutely.
And despite that, Chime 2x'd everything in those 3 months.
Excellent. So despite all of these hurdles, within 90 days, you were able to see a noticeable impact of what Chime's innovation brings to the industry.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, our ISAs who had been trained on Boomtown at first were risk adverse. They didn't like the disruption of migrating to a new CRM, especially because for those 3 months, they had to work on 2 separate CRMs at the same time. So that was asking a lot for them, and they managed to that. And I remember our top performing ISA came to me about 2 weeks after he had been initially reluctant and said, "This platform's amazing. Can I just work just on Chime?"
Wow.
So we had to force him to continue working on us. But so yeah, so with Lacido Global, we're increasingly focused on capturing the listings. If you own the listings, you own the market. So when crafting this trial, we just didn't want more conversions. We wanted higher quality conversions. And we wanted higher quality conversions of the right kinds of opportunities, namely listings at high average sale prices.
Okay.
So, you know, in this trial, Chime, we doubled the number of conversions, but again, that wasn't enough. We wanted listing conversions, so we doubled those listing conversions, and then our average price point of those listing conversions went up $230,000.
The average price point of the listing conversions increased $230,000.
Correct. Over the legacy platform in that same period.
Wow, that number alone, $230,000 is quite a sum of money. That's probably $5,000 to $6,000 in an agent's pocket as a commission check.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a big improvement, very quickly, I might add. So with that being said, let's peel back some of those numbers. You said you increased the listing conversion by 2-fold. Help me understand that a little bit better. That was twice as many contracts, opportunities. That was conversion to agreement. To agreement. Okay. So not just a warm transfer, but that was twice as many signed listing agreements. Correct.
So if you look at it, the best barometer of whether it was a good opportunity was whether you were able to get an agreement from it. If you look at the top of the funnel, leads convert to appointments, those appointments convert to agreements, and then those agreements convert to closings.
Right.
So that's the general funnel of lead generation, business generation. We use agreements as the best barometer of lead quality. And because that's what's ultimately going to put money in the pocket of the company, but also of our partners.
Right.
And so that's why we were laser focused on that. So again, we are only looking at a 90-day window. So we were making as demanding of a trial as possible for you guys to earn our business. Basically what we were saying is the average timeline of a lead converting, an internet lead, is 6 to 8 months. So we wanted to say, how good is this platform? Can you do it in 90 days? And to be frank, we knew we were asking a lot, and that filtered out some other CRM platforms.
Sure.
We wanted someone that had confidence in their platform, that they could take a risk and say, you know, we're gonna bet on ourselves for a 90-day window. And within those 90 days, how many of the leads converted to agreements? And Chime doubled.
That's phenomenal. So your barometer for success is conversion percentage rather than cost per lead.
Yeah, CPL is frankly, I mean, don't get me wrong, CPL has an important component to it.
Sure.
But if that's your sole focus, there's a reason why people are just throwing that out there. It's a nice little tagline, it's a sucker line. You know, if that's your sole focus, meaning how you run your business generation is just solely based on CPL, you're missing the boat and you're missing the end result.
Yes.
Because if you spend, you know, $200 and you get 100 leads, $2 CPL,
Yep.
If none of those leads convert, the cost of it is negative $200.
Yeah, that's right.
And the cost of your lead was negative $2.
Right.
So if your focus starts there and ends there, you're missing the boat.
Absolutely. And from our perspective, what we've seen happen in the real estate industry was there was a long period of just next to nil adoption of technology, right? Very little innovation going on. And then as technology will do, it innovated very quickly. The speed and quality of the technology improved dramatically. However, people were still focused on cost per lead, which was the old school way of judging success. And quite frankly, from a technology company's perspective, that's the easiest way for a technology company to judge success. It is difficult for a technology company to collect costs per acquisition, cost per conversion information. There's only a few organizations like yours that actually track that data as closely and accurately as you do. So because a cost per lead data point is the only data point that technology companies can really offer, it's what agents have been willing to accept as an acceptable data point. They don't necessarily have the wherewithal to determine what their cost per conversion is because it's a little harder. It's not something that can be easily handed to them by a technology company, but you had the wherewithal to understand that cost per conversion is where money is made or money is lost.
Yeah, it's more abstract. It's harder to pinpoint exactly how much it is, and that there's going to be a large array of that.
Sure.
There's no way to really track that from a CRM standpoint. And to be frank, CPL, like it says, it has a little bit of merit, but it's largely a sales tactic. And you're going to see a lot of different sales campaigns pushing, like, our CPL is down 20% year over year, or we're going to get you $2 leads.
Sure.
Well, to be frank, like, you get what you pay for. And if you're